Um, Hello everyone. Please confirm if you can hear me. Hello everyone. Please, if you can hear me, just drop like something in the chat area. Okay, I can see a comment from I am legit. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Uh, okay, so unfortunately, I will not be sharing my video. I will not be turning on my camera because I have removed the the camera from this particular computer that I will be streaming with. Yeah, so just bear with me. And if you need to pass any message across, just like, you can drop them in the chat area. I will be monitoring the comment section. Yeah. All right. Uh, I am a little bit nervous. Yeah, but with time, it will get better. Yeah. How clear can you guys hear me? Please let me know. Like, is it very clear? Am I speaking from like a far distance or something? All right, all right, guys. Thank you very much. All right. So, hi everyone. Good evening. If you are joining from West African time zone, and if you're joining from other places, yeah. So, my name is Al Amir. For those who don't know who I am an application security engineer, and I promised the people who attended Cysec-Con last week that I would be doing a virtual session because we were unable to cover like other mobile security testing techniques. Yeah, and I want to use this opportunity. Like I want to use this session to to go over as many as possible techniques. Yeah. All right. So I will be I will briefly talk about the role of API or APIs in application. Yeah. Um, API powers like almost all the applications that we use nowadays. Yeah. Be it mobile phone, be it web application, your IoT devices, your desktop application, your smartwatches, whatever application you use on a daily basis is being powered by APIs, right? And I said something during this session that even if you can test a mobile application, yeah, as long as you cannot test API, then your mobile application skills are, I would say like it's kind of a waste, yeah, because at the end of the day, if you're able to break into a mobile application, you are going to meet API. API power the functionality or the functionalities of any application that you use, be it Twitter, be it WhatsApp, be it whatever. Yeah, the buttons that you interact with every day on your regular applications are powered like APIs are behind those buttons. Yeah, and yeah, so as a security engineer, be it application security or a cyber security engineer or an infosec engineer, as long as you're working in an organization that builds products, you might not be able to run away from application security testing, right? And if you are very lucky or if you're unlucky, you might come across mobile application security testing. And if you're not working in an organization where they build products, you are a cybersecurity engineer, or you're a freelance security engineer, or you are a cybersecurity consultant, someone somewhere can just come to you and they'll be like, we have this application. Can you help us, do a mobile pen test, or can you help us pen test our mobile application? What are the things that you will ask whoever like um reach reach out to you for a pen test engagement, right? So for mobile application, the most important thing you want to request for is the binary. Yeah. So for Android, the binary is called APK. Yeah. And for iOS, it's called IPA. So this is the file that you will install on on the phone. Yeah. So if you're on Google Play Store, or you're on Apple Store, whenever you are downloading an application, you're either downloading an APK or you are downloading an IPA, right? And within these APKs or IPAs, they've embedded some logics to call APIs, right? Right? To call these APIs. So next that you will be asking for is like the API documentation. Yeah. Um, Although it depends on the engagement, right? So you might be doing a white box testing. So in cybersecurity, we have like different types of testing. We have white box, we have black box, we have gray box. Yeah. So white box is like it is a setting where you have all the information available to you, like all the necessary documents, all the architecture, the API documentation, like everything is available to you as the security engineer, right? Black box is for you to like simulate a real attack, a real attack scenario, right? Like you have to like put yourself in the attacker's shoes and try to like pen test the application or the company from an attacker's point of view. All right. And gray box is the combination of both white box and black box. You have some knowledge of, like, you have some internal knowledge of the application you want to test, and you do not have some things, right? So you have to use both like you have like a limited resources for you to conduct your penetration test, right? So another thing you might want to ask for is the backend, or the server scope, right? There are sometimes that you be testing an application and you will find yourself, hitting like a production endpoint. So you want to be careful, and make sure that the person who is putting you up for the penetration testing has like clarified that, okay, yeah, it is okay to test our production APIs. It is not okay to test our production APIs. But most times, if you want to do like a mobile pen test engagement, most companies they'll deploy a version of their services that they are going to deploy it to a test environment or staging environment or whatever environment they call it in the organization, right? So that whatever thing you do on that particular server or on that particular environment, either you destroy the server or you destroy a particular data or you cause any harm or something, it is not going to affect the real users of that particular company, right? Then we have test accounts. You also want to ask them to give you a test account for you to perform your security testing. Most times they will tell you, okay, yeah, we've deployed this particular service or this particular application on our test environment. Go ahead to create an account yourself and use it. Yeah. And once you're done, we are going to delete that account. Yeah. So these are the things that you might want to ask for whenever you want to perform a penetration testing engagement, right? Hi guys, am I sharing my screen? I can see the comments. Oh my goodness. Apologies, guys. I actually thought I was sharing my screen. I'm very very sorry. Can you see my screen now? Hello, is my screen visible now? All right, all right. Thank you very much. I am very sorry. I thought I was sharing my screen. Yeah. So although I am done explaining this particular, um, give us a recap. Yeah. So I said things you should ask for whenever you want to perform a mobile application pen test engagement. One is the application package or the binary, which comes in either APK or IPA. So APK is for mobile, is for Android applications or for Android phones, while IPAs are for iOS, like that's iPhones. Yeah. Then another thing you want to ask for is the API documentation, right? Because the mobile application you want to perform an engagement on uh, is consuming like APIs. Yeah, it will be consuming APIs, and some companies might give you this, some might not give you. It depends on the nature of your engagement, right? Are you doing a white box testing? Are you doing a black box testing? Are you doing a gray box testing? In a typical white box testing, you have access to the API documentation, right? And most times for white box, you are either like the security engineer of that particular company, or okay, the company they are very lenient and they just want you to have like a full coverage of their assets, right? So they won't want to stress you to do black box. But in a typical black box engagement, you might not be given or you will not be given an API documentation, and you will need to, break into the mobile application security measures that they have in place, reverse engineer their APIs, and test from there, right? So most times black box are they're always default and they are always like expensive, right? They also take time because the engineer we will have to like gather like lots of information gathering, do recon, force lots of endpoints, write all sorts of scripts to bypass SSL pinning, bypass different kinds of security mechanisms in place, and do a lot of technical stuff before they can be able to get all the APIs. Right. So then another thing you want to request for is the backend scope or the server scope. That, okay, if I find the APIs, should I perform some kind of tests that will affect your database? Should I send like a large payload that might crash your server? Should I do this? Should I do that? Right. So all of this will be in like a written agreement between you and the company. That is if you are an external researcher. Yeah. But if you work within the organization, I want to believe you guys will know how to sort whatever thing you need to sort. Yeah. Then you want to request for test accounts. Most times companies would deploy like a replica of their production application to a test environment for you to test, right? So you can create a test account on that test environment, right? So that you will know how accounts are being created. That's like you'll be able to hit the registration endpoint, you will hit the login endpoint, you will hit the, let's say, two-factor authentication endpoint, and you understand, like you will have like a full coverage of your targets, right? Yeah. So hi guys, am I still audible and can you see my screen? Please let me know in the comment section so that we can proceed. Hello. All right. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so today I'll be showing us how we can, set up a testing environment. Yeah, you've been given about pen test task. How are you going to set up your testing environment? The Android emulator that we're going to use. So you can either use an Android emulator or you can use a physical device, right? Uh, I would recommend Android emulator because it's very easy to set up. If you are choosing the right emulator, which is Genymotion, I'm recommending Genymotion. If you want to use physical device, there are instances where emulators will not work, right? And that is when, let's say, you are testing an application that involves you to turn on your camera, maybe to capture your face or to do something that will involve you turning on your camera. Yeah, that is the only case where device like is better than emulator, because for emulators you don't have access to cameras, but for physical device, yeah, you can capture like your live image and proceed to the next phase. Yeah. Another problem with physical device is that you need to root that physical device. So you have to go through the process of bypassing some Android security controls to become a root user on that device, right? Another thing with physical device is that you will need to have like a network that your computer and your phone will share. Yeah. And you need a physical USB, a USB that will connect that you connect your phone to your computer with. Yeah. That is what you can use to, let's say, transfer files between your phone to your computer, like go into your phone, write some data on the file, or on any file, delete data, do all of those operations that you can do on emulators, right? You will need USB to do that. But if you just want to proxy your traffic and you just want to, just test application, intercept the API traffic, you don't need USB to do that. Right. So today I'll only show Android emulator because I can't share my camera. Then we will also look at how we can set up a Frida server, how we can run objection, how we can use logcat for dynamic analysis. Right. Frida and objection are used for they are used for instrumentation sake, while logcat is used to capture application logs, right? So as you use your phone, some things are being logged in real time on the device. Some of those things that are being logged might be sensitive. They might be sensitive that they are not supposed to be logged, right? So logcat will help us to see all of these things, and we'll see if there's anything sensitive that we can report to the company, that okay, you are logging sensitive data, you should not log sensitive data, and all these things. Well, we're also going to look at how we can set up JDX and MobiSef. These are tools for static analysis. There are other tools. We have APX, we have Immuniweb, we have a lot of static analysis tools, right? We are also going to look at how we can configure other tools, how we can set up Bob Suite, how we can capture traffic with Bob Suite, and how we can run some custom scripts that I have provided for us for this session. All right, next we'll look at static analysis. I've also mentioned it. I've mentioned it before. How we can decompile APKs and review the source code to see if there is anything sensitive that are being stored in the APKs. We're also going to look at how we can identify hard-coded credentials, and how we can also, review insecure code practices within mobile binaries. Then we'll go ahead to do dynamic analysis by proxying traffic from our emulator to our Bob suite, and how we can, go into the device to see what are the data that these applications are, and this application is logging, or that is storing, that this application is storing on on the device, right? Okay, so we're also going to look at insecure data storage. A I built a vulnerable mobile application just for this session. Yeah. If you check the if you check the chat area, you see some links that I have dropped. You can, check those links whenever you have time to do so. Right. So we will look at how insecure data storage works, and how we can go into the mobile phone to view this sensitive data. We're also going to look at how we can bypass login mechanisms, how we can bypass um, root detection, how we can use Frida to hook into application functions, how we can use objection, and all of those things. So before we begin, I'll just want to quickly go through the OWASP mobile top 10. All right. OWASP is they are a non-profit organization that always publish like top 10 risks for every platform. Yeah. So there used to be called Open Web Application Security Project before, but now they are called Open Worldwide Application Security Project or something. Yeah. And we have OWASP top 10 for mobile application. We have OWASP top 10 for APIs. We have for web applications. We have for I think for Kubernetes, and for other platforms. You can go to their platform to check these things out, right? So number one on the list is improper credential usage, right? So this is one of the um, issues, or yeah, one of the security vulnerabilities that is common in mobile application. And what it means is that developers, maybe during tests, while they are building the application, and like they want to test quickly, they don't have time to be making API calls or to be looking around for test credentials. What they normally do is to hard code their credential in the code, right? They might hard code their credential, they might hard code that's their username and password, or their API keys, or their JWT, their session token, or JSON web token. They might hard code all of these things in the code so that they can be able to test faster. But most times, these people forget to remove this sensitive data, these credentials. They always forget to remove them from their code. So most times they'll forget, they'll deploy the application like that. Customers will download, malicious actors will also download. They will decompile the APK, and they will find like the developer's username and password, and they'll gain access into the account, right? So improper credential usage is one of those common mobile security weaknesses. Then we have inadequate supply chain security, right? Um, with the way everything is going, right, we are in the modern world where developers don't build applications from scratch. Yeah, everybody wants to like build like very fast. Everybody wants to ship their product to users like at a faster or at a fast pace, and they will rely on third party libraries or third-party frameworks. Yeah, and most of the times, if you are not being careful, there are lots of rogue libraries out there. There are a lot of rogue frameworks out there that will mimic original library. There's something called typo squatting in supply chain security, right? Where an attacker will create a similar library that looks just exactly like the ones developers have been using. Yeah. So if you are not careful as a developer, you might use that that malicious library and introduce so many vulnerabilities into your application. Yeah. So you might have done a lot of secure coding in your own code, but if you are not adequately using third-party libraries, like if you're not using secure third-party libraries or trusted libraries, you might introduce vulnerabilities into your own application just by using these third-party frameworks. Yeah. Then we have insecure authentication and authorization. Insecure authentication is when the application isn't validating your username and your password or your API key. There is no validation in place, or there is less validation in place. There's no robust validation. Then insecure authorization is when, yeah, authentication is, yeah, give me your username and password. I will allow you access into the application. Authorization is when I'm allowing you access into the application, what are the things that you can do on my application? So let's use a bank app as an example, or a banking platform as an example. We, the customers or the consumers, we are the customers, right? And if we are creating a bank account, we are creating as customers. So I can create an account. All I have to do is supply all my data, use my username and password, or my account number and my password to log in. I can transfer money. I can request for loan. I can view my own account balance. Yeah. If there is insecure authorization in place, as a customer, it means that okay, I can top up my balance without transferring money from any account to my account. I can bypass some controls and increase my account balance. I can request for loan as a customer and go back to exploit the insecure authorization to approve that loan. I can delete someone else's account. I can view someone else's BVN or SSN or whatever confidential data customers might have, right? These are things that bankers are meant to, like, these are privileges that admins or bank officers are meant to have. But if your application, if there's no secure authorization in place, a normal user can also be able to do, like, can perform actions. They can perform bank officers' action. They can perform whatever action that they are not meant to perform, right? Then we have insufficient input and output validation. This is when the application allows users to enter any kind of data into the application, right? So we all know that before you can log in, you need to we on the login screen we have input fields like the username field, we have the password field, then we have the login button. What will happen if there are no security controls in the username field and the password field? This is what we call insufficient input, meaning an attacker can enter a malicious payload in those fields because those fields are connected to the database. An attacker can write a particular script that will trigger on the database or that will trigger on the server. And these scripts might compromise the server. They can take down the server. They can dump the data of customers. They can do anything if you're not properly validating inputs. And if you're not encoding outputs, an attacker can embed, let's say, a cross-site scripting payload on your application, and whosoever that visits that particular place in your application, that particular script will trigger on their device. So if you're not encoding output, or you're not neutralizing outputs or inputs, your customers, even the admin, whosoever, anybody that will be using that application is vulnerable to all sorts of attack. Then we have insecure communication. Insecure communication is when there is no security in place for your data in transit. So in data security, we have data in transit and we have data at rest. I'm very sure everyone on this session understand what HTTPS means, right? It is the protocol. It is a secure protocol, or HTTP basically. It's a protocol which the web or web application and the server uses to communicate. And if you are not securing this particular protocol, this particular communication, attackers can intercept, they can eavesdrop. I'm very sure everyone understands what man in the middle attack is. Yeah, so insecure communication makes it possible for attackers to perform man in the middle attack between the client and the server, right? So I'll just quickly go back to this image. So when there is no insecure communication, an attacker can be in between this place, right? In between this place, or in between this place in your architecture, meaning whatever data that is passing between this phone and the API and the server, someone somewhere can see this data. They can get this data before you, the owner of the data, even get it. Yeah, they can modify the data. They can do whatever thing they want to do. A typical example of exploiting insecure communication is, let's say, I want to transfer money from my account to someone else's account. Uh, After I hit the transfer button, there is an attacker already in between my session, like between my like in between me and the server of the bank. Immediately I hit the transfer button, the attacker will intercept that request, and they will just change the account number I am transferring to. They will change it to their own, and they will allow the traffic to go through. Meaning, instead of the money I'm transferring to that particular account to drop in that account, it will drop on the attacker's end. Yeah. Because of time, I might not be able to go deeper into the rest of of this guy. So I'll be as fast as possible. We have inadequate privacy control. This is when an application is asking for too many permissions while you're trying to install it. For example, you are trying to download a dictionary application, and it is requesting for your contact list. It is requesting for camera. It's requesting for it is requesting access to all sort of things. Then we have insufficient binary protection. This is when you are not securing your binary, your APK or your IPA enough, right? Um, some of the ways you can secure your binary is by, one of them is to make sure that you you are properly, like, you've properly obfuscated your code, and you have some integrity checks in place, such that when someone decompiles the APK and they try to install the application, it is not going to work. Or when someone is trying to install your application on a rooted device, it is not going to work. Or when they are trying to use their application on an emulator, because we know how powerful an attacker can get when they are using emulator to access your application. You make sure that all of this mechanism will be in place so that they cannot use your application unless they've downloaded it directly from Google Store and they have not tampered with the application. Then we have security misconfiguration. This is when developers just use default settings for everything, right? A typical example is, for mobile application, you might developers might ignorantly enable clear text traffic, which will make insecure communication to happen. Developers might be like they might allow backup. They might forget to turn off some vulnerable ports on the server or on the application. Name it, like whatever configuration a developer has to make, and they did not think security while they are doing that is security misconfiguration. Yeah, and attackers can bypass your application just because there are misconfigurations in place. Then we have insecure data storage. Remember, I made mention of data while I was trying to explain data in transit, that we use HTTPS, which is SSL or TLS, to secure our data in transit. Then for data at rest, they are information that needs to be stored somewhere. So you are trying to create an account, you've given them all your data. This data needs to sit somewhere, right? As a developer, as a company, as a security engineer, how are you storing your customers' data? Are you just storing it in plain text? Does it mean that if an attacker should find themselves into your server or into your database, they can download your customers' data in plain text? Are you encrypting this data? If you're encrypting this data, how are you encrypting them? What encryption algorithm are you using to encrypt? Is it a weak algorithm? Is it a strong algorithm? All of these things needs to be put into consideration. Then we have insufficient cryptography, which is similar to you using either weak algorithms. Yeah. So for insufficient cryptography, you might want to secure customers' password or customer sensitive data. For example, passwords, right? You don't want to store passwords in plain text, and you don't want to encrypt passwords because it means that someone malicious in your company can decrypt customer's password. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to hash that password so that no one can reverse. We can't reverse um, hashes. Yeah. But how are you hashing that password? Are you using a strong hashing algorithm? We have we have most developers might use MD5 or they might use SHA-1. These are weak or vulnerable hashing algorithms, right? If you want to secure your customer data or you want to use a very strong cryptography algorithm or hashing algorithm, we have bcrypt, we have Argon 2, we have I think SHA-256 is still considerable. Yeah. So I guess I've covered all the OWASP mobile top 10. So we can just dive like straight into the demo. Let me know if it's okay to go into the demo. Please, you can drop your thoughts in the chat area. I'll be scrolling through, and if you have any question, you can also drop it or drop them so that I can address Any of these questions before we move on? All right. So if there are no questions, I guess we can start the demo. For our demo, we will be using two vulnerable applications. One of them is from Redshift, and the other is from me. We'll be using two vulnerable applications. One is to demonstrate how you can bypass some security controls, like some runtime security controls, right? And we can achieve that with this Redshift mobile application. And that will also show us how we can be able to intercept mobile API traffic using the mobile application, the vulnerable mobile bank application I built. Yeah. So before we start the demo, I think I said we are going to set up, yeah, we are going to look at how we can set up an Android emulator. So to get an Android emulator, all you need to do is to search Genymotion, visit their visit the URL, come to download. So and then you select the platform that you want to download the Genymotion on. If you're using Windows, just go ahead to download. It is very straightforward. If you're using Linux, it is the same thing. If you're using Mac OS, MacBook, it is also the same. Because of time, I won't go like into like details of how we can download and register and all of those things. You can always like get YouTube videos that will walk you through on how you can set up like the basic Genymotion registration. Yeah. So tool we are going to be using is JADX. JADX is an APK decompiler. It will help you to decompile your binary into readable files. Yeah, into readable files. So I will drop all these URLs in the chat here very soon. So we have JDX. Another static analysis tool that we are going to be looking at is MobileSef. MobileSef is a powerful static analysis tool that you can use to perform static analysis on APKs and even IPAs. If you want to test Android application, if you want to perform static analysis on Android application, you can use MobileSef. If you want to perform static analysis on iOS applications, you can also use MobileSef. And after it is done analyzing the application, it it will give you like a report. You will get to see it. It will give you a report. It will give you score of like the security score of the binary. It will help you source, like it will tell you possible hard-coded credentials. It will give you a lot of things. Yeah. We are going to I'm going to do a demonstration of how we can run it. You can also download your reports and you can share that with your security engineers. You can you can do a lot of things with this MobileSef. In fact, they have a dynamic analysis functionality but it is not really powerful like that, or maybe it is because I have not really explored the dynamic analysis parts of MobileServe. So MobileServe is a powerful tool that you can use to do your static analysis. For dynamic analysis, we have Bob Suite. We all know uh, Bob Suite. You can go ahead to download Community Edition and set it up, right? All right. So let's get into setting up mobile our our mobile labs. Yeah. So I've already installed Genymotion. So what I'm going to be showing us is how we can set up a mobile phone on Genymotion. So once you're done registering and you've done all the things you are meant to do to get Genymotion running, you are going to be presented with an interface like this. In your own case, all these devices will be empty. Like you won't have any device here. So to create a device, all you need to do is to come here, hit on the plus icon, and you can browse around. You can choose any device you want. I will just go ahead to select, let's say, Samsung A50, and I'll hit next. If you like, you can rename the phone to whatever thing you want to rename it to. I can call it Cysec-Con virtual demo. And when you are selecting the Android version, it is recommended to go with Android 11, right? The reason why we go with Android 11 is because there are some applications that you might want to test that are built on ARM architectures. If you look at the architecture for this mobile device, it is it's 86 64. Some companies build their mobile apps to work on ARM on device that are running on ARM architectures. So we have a particular project called Lib. Exactly. This project can help you to translate your normal Genymotion emulator into an ARM architecture, right? So I'll drop this will be very very useful for you in the future, right? So let's go ahead to create. I've selected Android 11. I'll just go ahead to hit next, and I'll just change this guy to 4. This is the processor, the memory. If you want to increase it, I would advise you just leave everything on default, and you can install the application. As you can see, I have has been installed, and I can start the emulator. So while we wait for the emulator to start, to Redshift, and we can download the APK. So to download the APK, they said both Vapor and certificate payment bypass application has been. You can just go to you can here, right? So I'll just hit and I will wait for the APK to download. So in my own case, I've already downloaded APK, and I will just navigate uh, into the device, into the directory that I downloaded my APK. So I have Born Mobile, and if I list, I have a lot of things here. So if you look at it here, I have the APK already here. So I can just go back, and if I keep this like on the side, vapor V016 APK, and that is the same thing that we have here. It is the same with what we have here, right? So check on our phone. Yeah, so our phone is done. Like now we have a phone that we can use, and I can install this APK on this on on this device. But before we do that, let's perform static analysis on, right. So I mentioned we can use JDX. You can just go through the installation requirements or the instruction and see how you can set up JDX. Already have JDX installed. All I have to do is to run the JDX using JDX GUI. And once I do that, JDX will be open, and I can navigate to where I have the APK. So if I go back, I install the APK in Von Mobile. So I'll come out, look for Von Mobile. Then I have the APK. So if I open so what JDX is doing now is like it is decompiling the APK for me, and once it is done, it will populate all the files here. As you can see, it is done. So to check for basic uh, like something around security misconfiguration, you can or the configuration data stored, right? And if we browse through here, we can see something around web view credits. You can see add card, we can see disclaimer, we can see login, register, and all of those things. If we look around, we are looking around. I'm looking for any misconfiguration here. All right, so this is one. This is one misconfiguration. As you can see, we have Android debuggable is like it is set to true, meaning um, whenever the application run into an error, it will log that particular data somewhere. And this might be useful for an attacker who wants to break into the mobile application, right? Then we have another misconfiguration, which is allow backup. An attacker can download all the data of this this application, yeah, as long as it is installed on a mobile device. Then what else? Then we have another misconfiguration, which is allow clear text traffic, which is set to true, meaning um, if there is a man in the middle somewhere, they can be able to intercept the request. They can be able to intercept the request, like in yeah, they can be able to intercept the request in clear text without going through any headache or any technical whatever. Yeah. So that is that. There are other things that you can look up. Let's look around. So you come to com, and you see a folder called Redshift Vapor Training, and this is where the logic, this is where the application logic of yeah, this is where the application logic are stored or they are written. So we can see logic to add a credit card. We can see a file for API. We can see build config. We have registration. So uh, please enter all your data. That is if you are trying to register and you are providing an empty information, or you've not entered something in the field, it will tell you please enter all your data. And once you've entered all the data, it will It will check for the name that you've provided and the password. And if that information is not on the database, you welcome the name that you provide, and yeah, it will show you welcome. Let's say welcome Badmos, welcome whatever, right? So if the logic is flawed, an attacker can be able to understand how the registration logic works, and they can reverse. Then if you go to login, as you can see, while the developers were building this mobile application, they forgot to remove their test credential. The admin forgot to and his password, and means that I now have access. Now I have the credential. All I have to do is to install the application and log in with this credential, right? So we also have cookies. They are coding a cookie. It might be an admin. We never can tell. Then we have some data here. Yeah, so we can also see the logic handling the root um, mechanism, right? So the application will look like it will check if your device is rooted. Yeah, if your device is rooted, once it a rooted device, it will tell you phone is rooted, please install application. But if the phone is not rooted, it will username or password is invalid. That is if you provide an invalid credential to the application. We are going to look at how we can bypass this mechanism. In a real world application, if you're a security engineer and you come across something like this, what you will recommend for the developer or the development team is for them to obfuscate their code. They have to obfuscate before they build. So obfuscation means there are several ways. If an attacker should come into this file, they will see like jargons. Yeah, it's like all the things they would see to them. So it's require like a very very skilled person to be able to reverse engineer the logic and understand what the action is doing. So I will also show us another the application I built. Um, yeah, I think we can do that with MobileSef, right? So we've done static analysis with JDX. Now let us look at MobileSef, right? So with MobileSef, you can set it up. MobileSef is very very easy to set up. All you have to do is you clone the repository. Once you clone the repository, go into the repository and run this command. It will start the Docker container and you can log in with this credential. For me, I've already downloaded MobileSef, so I'll just show us how we can run MobileSef. Please let me know if I'm still audible in the comment area. So I will do ls grep MobileSef, anything with mob. There is nothing with mob. Let me go into downloads. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. If I try to ls again and I grep, there is nothing in my downloads. MobileSef. I can't remember where I where I installed MobileSef, so I'll just quickly look for it. Okay, this is it here. All right, so I can just clear and I can do cd into MobileSef. So if you download MobileSef, this is how it will look. If you clone MobileSef from GitHub, this is how it will look. So all you need to do is to go into the directory. When you go into the directory, you can do ls and you see all the files, compose files. We have What else? We have the readme.md that will tell you how you can run it, right? So for me, I can I can cut readme.md and I can go to like the instruction on how I can run the application. And if you look at it, they've already given me like a quick setup on how I can run MobileSef. So all I have to do is to come, let me just clear, and I'll just paste this guy. So it will start pulling the containers, like the image, and once everything is done, it will start running. As you can see, it is trying it is trying to configure some basic things that will get MobileSef to run. And once it is running, we can visit the URL on our browser. Yeah. So I'm just going to wait for that to happen. Okay. So I think once it is done, it should tell me that, yeah. So I think I can now visit the URL. So I can just go to, and I can do local hosts 8,000, and MobileSef will come up. Exactly. So this is the interface of MobileSef. This is MobileSef's interface. Remember, um, we have a credential that we can use. They've already given us a default credential. If you like, you can create your own credential. The default credential is MobileSef. So I'll just go back and I'll use MobileSef, and I'll sign in. Yeah, so I am in MobileSef, and this is the page that you see. So it is very, very easy to use, like very, very easy. Once you get it running, all you need to do is to upload and analyze. That is the only thing you need to do. Upload the application and analyze it. So I will upload Von Bank, the mobile. I'll upload Von Bank, the mobile application I built. I have embedded uh, appli- some sensitive data in it, and let's see if MobileSef can pick those sensitive data for us. So as you can see, it is analyzing, it's trying to read, it is performing some things in the back, and we'll just wait for everything to finish. Someone said my network is breaking. Please confirm if you can hear me. Okay, so I can see some comments in the chat area. Judy preferable as compared to salting. So salting is like an additional security control or mechanism that you can administer to further strengthen your ciphertext, right? So you can salt, you can salt. So salting will make it to be more random, and it will make it hard for an attacker to brute force or to break. Yeah. And I think that there's another one. There's pep. I think we have hash, we have pepper, hash, salt, and pepper. I think so. You can use all of these things to strengthen your ciphertext. All right, so we are done. The mobile service done with our static analysis. Now view the result, right? So this is how it looks. Um, this is a package name. This is the name of the application. We can see the security score. It is 37 over 100. What else? We can open this scorecard in another page, and this is how it will look. Our security score is 37. The grade is C, and we can see the vulnerability that mobile chef has picked for us. Right? You can see that it's different from JDX. With JDX, you do all these things manually. With mobile chef, it will automate static analysis for you, and it will generate a report for you, right? So you can see that it is telling us that the application is signed with a debug certificate. So I can open it and it will give me an explanation of what it is saying. It is telling me that the certificate algorithm is vulnerable to hash collision because we signed the application with a weak hashing algorithm. Remember, we have insecure cryptography here, and we can see SHA-1 here with RSA. In the real sense, we want to sign with SHA-256, we want to sign with Argon 2, we want to sign with Bcrypt and all of those sophisticated hashing algorithm, right? It is also telling me that the application can be installed on a vulnerable, unpatched Android version, right? So we can install the application on a vulnerable device. So, you can tell your developer, increase the minimum SDK to, let's say, 30 something, right? Then we have clear text traffic is enabled. Remember, I mentioned that it is a misconfiguration, right? So it's saying the app intends to use clear text network traffic, such as clear text HTTP, FTP stacks, download manager, blah blah blah. Apps that target API level 28 or higher default to false. The key reason for avoiding clear text traffic is the lack of confidentiality, authenticity, and protections against tampering. Network attacker can eavesdrop, or you understand. So what this guy is trying to tell you, that when you enable clear text traffic, you've made it easier for an attacker to perform man in the middle attack, right? They can sit in between your traffic, your data in transit, right? They can be able to see it in clear text, right? So we also have data. I think I mentioned something like that the other time. So it's telling me that the app uses SQLite database, which executes raw SQL query. Sorry, I'm very fast. Which might be vulnerable to SQL injection, right? So mobile self will give me all this data, and I can just download the report. I can just come here and hit this icon to download the report, and I'll share it with my developers, right? Then I can also come here to, I can check, okay, I want to do code analysis. Is there any place in the application that is vulnerable, right? And all of these things. And it uses JDX, like it uses JDX. So I can view my manifest from around. We can see that there is we can see sensitive data in the Android manifest. This application is also, they've hard coded the admin username and the admin password, and there is a debug endpoint which is called users. We don't know what is in this endpoint, but I want to believe it is a sensitive endpoint that a normal user is not supposed to have access. We can also look around. We can see allow backup is set to true, allow clear test traffic is set to true, and none of this data, right? Uh, we can also view our code. We can view the source. We can also do something like that with MobileSef. So if I come to this I can see this folder called vulnerable bank app, and if I hit this secret.java, I can see that the developer also they've coded an internal IP with that same debug users, meaning this particular guy is highly sensitive and it is useful to me as an attacker. I can also see that they forgot to remove an admin JSON web token. And if I copy this web token and I go to jwt.io to see if it is actually valid, right? So I can just, and if you look at it, the token is actually valid. And we have its admin is true, username is admin, and it was issued on Friday, April 18. There is no expiry date, meaning this token does not expire, meaning I can use this token to perform a malicious activity. All right, so uh, what else? What else? What else? Press helper. We also have another thing here. You can use MobileSef, you can use JDX. So because of time, we need to go into the dynamic analysis now. You can just go into you can use JDX or you can use MobileSef to perform this thing. MobileSef is actually very very useful because you can download the report, you can view everything in a very beautiful way, and it will automate some of these processes for you, right? As we can see some sensitive data here, you can see balance, an account balance, we can see admin credential here. Let's go ahead to install this application on our mobile device, right? So let me just download this guy so that I can have access to all right. So uh what I'll just stop MobileSef. I'll shut down MobileSef, and I'll also shut down JDX. Or I might not shut down JDX. Let's leave JDX. So let's try to install this APK on this phone, right? One of the ways we can install a app or like an APK onto a device is by dragging and dropping, right? But because I'm in my terminal, so to drag and drop is very easy to do. So I won't be doing that. Yeah. So you can just go to your file to automatically install and it will even start the application for you. So we'll go through the pain of the terminal installation. So I can do ADB to check if this device is actually running. I can do ADB devices, and if you look at it, we have a device. So if I do ADB push, so ADB push is to send a file to the phone. It's for me to send the file like a file to the phone, and it's very easy. I can just do ADB push this guy, or I can even do ADB install this app. And once I do that, as you can see, it showed success. And if I come back to this phone, I can see that this app has been installed, right? I've already installed this application. So I can quickly do that for so let me just try to download Von Bank. same thing for one bank mobile, or we can just continue while we wait for one bank mobile to actually download. I don't know why. All right, so I is blocking some GitHub's URL. So I can just quickly navigate to a folder I to the folder I downloaded. So I can do cd vulnerable bank app. And if I ls, yeah, I have this guy. So I can go into Android directory. I can ls. I can go into app, I guess. I can go into build. I can go into outputs, and I will see APK logs. I can go into APK ls. I will see debug and release. So I think I created an app for release. Yeah, so this is one bank APK. Good. So I can just clear ls, and I can also install one bank into the device, right? So I can do adb install von bank.apk, and just pay this icon. You see that like it will automatically appear on the phone, right? It's performing on the phone as well. Yeah. So that's how you can install an application or an APK on your phone. So let's open uh, the Vapor app. So because this Vapor application runs like locally, I have to start the local server, right? I have to start the local server to get this guy to work. Yeah. So there's RS training server. I can just copy. Let me clear, and I can go into the server. And if I ls, I will get 3 files, or 1 file and 2 folders. What I'm concerned about is the main.py. That is the code that will run the server. So if I do Python main.py, it will start the server for me. It will start this mobile app server for me. So all I have to do is to copy the URL into this place, and I can start using the application. So the URL is, the IP is 192.168.18. And if I test connection, as you can see, I have something here, and I got connected to server. So if I hit continue, so remember that we found a sensitive, exactly. So we found this credential. So I will try to use this credential to log in into this application, right? So I'll use admin, and as you can see, maybe my screen is here. If I try to log in, it will give me phone is rooted. Please uninstall application, right? Phone is rooted. Please uninstall application. This particular um, error message, I'm getting this particular error message. Phone is rooted. Please uninstall application. So how can we bypass this root detection, right? How can we bypass root detection? that is where Frida and objection will come in. Yeah. So Frida, so we can do Frida, we can do objection. Objection for Android bypass. So for Frida, so if you are here, Frida, what we need is the Frida server. I think I'm in the wrong directory for Frida. Sorry, let me just find it again. Frida. Frida release. Not this Frida, not this. If I do Frida server, Frida server. So I don't know why my computer is blocking GitHub's a certain GitHub URL, so I won't be able to open Frida server. So let's see if we can show. Okay, fine. So this is the page. So what we are looking for is Frida server, right? So Frida Android server. Yeah, so I can just look around. So I can see Frida server, but Frida server for Android, that is what we need. Frida server for Android. All right, so around here, we can see 4 files, 1, 2, 3, 4, which are for Android. But we need to be careful. We need to select the correct architecture for our device. Remember, while we were trying to create the device, we saw x8664, right? X8664. So if you are running an ARM, if your mobile phone is running on ARM or ARM64 or x68, you want to make sure that you are downloading for them. But for us, this is what we are going to download, right? We might not be able to download it, but I have already downloaded the Frida server. So what I'll do is I'll just go into mobile ls. If you look around here, I have the server already. I have it downloaded. I have unzipped the Frida server, right? So for us to be able to bypass this root detection something, we need to move this server into this phone, start the server, and use objection to help us to bypass this security control. And how can we do it? It's very easy. All I have to do is to copy this long guy. Let me just clear this guy. And I can do ADB push. Now I want to send that file to this device. So I'll do ADB push this file. I'm pushing this file. Where am I pushing it to? I am pushing it to data local. Let me zoom in. I'm pushing it to data local TMP folder on this phone, right? There's a folder, there's a directory called TMP, and I need to go through data, I need to go through local, I need to go through TMP to get into this directory. So to confirm that, I can quickly open another terminal just to show us that I actually know what I'm saying. So if I do adb to go into this phone, all I have to do is to write adb shell. Once I do adb shell, I am inside the phone. And if I do su, I'll switch user into a root user. So I can do ls to list all the directories. And if I look around, I can see data directory. So I'll do cd data to go into the data directory. And if I do ls again, I'll see a lot of directory, right? But my concern is the local directory. Yeah. So I'll do cd local. And if I do ls, I only have two directories in local. We have tmp and we have traces. So if I go into tmp and I do ls, we don't have anything in this directory. So I will be pushing this guy. I'll push this file into this directory. Then we'll come back to confirm that we've pushed it, right? So what I can also rename this file to, I can call it Frida server. And once I push it, as you can see, I'm pushing and I've successfully sent this file into the phone. So if I come back here and I do ls, as you can see, I have sent the Frida server into the device. But for me to run it, I need to give it permission, right? I need to give it some level of permission to get it to run. So what will I do? I'll do chmod 755 Frida server. That is it. And once I do that, I have given it permission to run, and I can just run the Frida server, and it will start running, right? It will run as it is blinking like this. It has started running. So I can just close. I can minimize rather, and I can try to start up objection, right? We use objection in conjunction with Frida of Frida server. You can also use Frida alone. So to check the package name of this device, I can do Frida ps UAI. Sorry, UAI. It will list all the applications that are installed on this phone for me. So if we look at it, we have gallery. I have gallery somewhere. This is gallery. We have phone. This is phone. We have RS Vapor Training. This is RS Vapor Training. We have Amaze. Yeah, all the installed application are listed here. What I need is the package name, right? That is the only thing I need. And once I've gotten that, I can just clear, and I can do objection dash help. And as you can see, I like all the available command that I can run with objection, right? So it's very easy. It's very, very easy. Your server running. All you need to do is to run objection. Then you do G stands for the gadgets. I can paste that. Okay, in the gadgets, we want to hook this application. Yeah, and I can do explore. What it will do is that it will restart this application for me. Let us watch. Once I do that, as you can see, it has restarted the application, and now objection is inside the application. Somehow it is somehow inside the application, right? So I will try to log in again. Admin login. I'm still getting phone is rooted, right? What do I need to do? All I need to do is to run. There are pre-installed commands on objection, right? So all I have to do is to do Android. What do I want to do? I want to bypass root disable and once I hit it, it is going to disable root detection. The root detection mechanism, it will disable it for me, and to log in. As you can see, I have been able to log in. Now, welcome admin that we get here. Welcome authenticated user, which is welcome. Now we have access into the device. As you can see, we've been able to bypass root mechanism, right? So we can try to play around. We can try to go to store, purchase some things. Can try to do a lot of you can try to do a lot of things, right? You can also see the card and do all these things, right? I can try to buy credits. Yeah. All right. So we've been able to bypass root detection. So the next thing we want to do, I mentioned Frida objection and logcat. Frida objection and logcat, right? So another terminal. So I've been able to do some things on this phone already. This phone is running as is it logging sensitive data? I don't know. Is it logging something interesting? I don't know. How can I be able to see what this phone is logging while it is running? Or what is it doing while I'm using the application? Yeah. So that's where logcat comes into play. So you can do ADB logcat, and we can do grep. So I'm doing okay. I want you to show me all the logs on this phone, but I don't want to see all the logs. I want you to give me a specific log of a specific application, which is com redshift rs blah blah blah. Yeah. So if I hit enter, as you can see, I have all the background processes running, and I can just go through everything one by one to see if there's any fishy stuff happening. So if I try to use the phone, I might be getting like it might be populating in some cases. Let me try to add a card. As you can see, as I'm doing something, something is populating here. And if you look at it, I have web view credits. I have add card. I clicked on add card and I have it here. So I can put my name. I can write something, expiry date 2025, CVV123. If I hit add, and as you can see, I hit something, they are not logging any sensitive thing, yeah? Or maybe because of time, we might not be able to look to see if there is any sensitive data anywhere, right? So what you can do, you can, if you want to log into a file and review it later, you can do something like this. You can like a right angle triangle, and you can do or an anchor tag, and you can do, let's say, log.txt. So if I do that, instead of the log to populate, it will store in log.txt. And once I'm done, or whenever I'm done, I can open this file with maybe an IDE or a code editor or whatever. Search through. Exactly. I think we've covered static analysis. We've done dynamic analysis with logcat and objection. Frida is cool. I only showed us like the basics of objection and Frida. If you want to use Frida, if you want to use, if you want to have your own custom scripts with Frida, you can also write custom scripts with Frida. If you pay attention to particular there's a particular folder where I had to Von Mobile ls. If you look around, you would see that I have some scripts written here already. I have yes, I have root bypass. There are objection might not be able to bypass detection control. So you will need to write some sophisticated scripts to bypass the root detection. So if I cut this script, um, I can just quickly, because of time, I can quickly cut this script. And if scripts that will help me to bypass like root detection, right? So you can do a lot of things with Frida, and you can also achieve like a lot with objection, right? So I think we are done with Frida. We are done with objection. Now let's look at how we can capture mobile API traffic, right? How we can capture mobile API traffic, and we are done. We will look at how we can set up Google Play Store on our phone, and we can actually download applications on Play Store and use and test those applications. Yeah. Um, so and let me just run one bank somewhere, and I will just close this application mobile, right? So Vonbank Mobile, I said, is an application I built it specifically for this session, and now everybody can use this project, right? Everybody can use this project, and all you need to do is to come here, come to this download latest APK, download it, drag and drop it into your phone, and you've installed it. And in the device or in the application, I specifically designed it to have insecure login, right, with accurate credentials. I specifically added the debug API endpoints. The application stores sensitive data in plain text. We are going to look at how we can go into mobile phones to see where mobile our data are stored. Yeah, so if you installed an application, where are your data stored? Can you be able to tamper with that data? Can you be able to see the data? If a thief should steal your phone, can they be able to go into your phone and retrieve a sensitive data of yours and use it to gain access to your bank account or to your account? Can they do that? We are going to look at it. I've also covered improper platform usage. You can just go through it, and you know, it's very, very easy I have gone through the pain to even deploy the API endpoints to a particular server so that you won't need to go through the pain of manually configuring some things here, right? This is for highly technical people and for people who wants to contribute. Contribution is also uh, welcome. Please feel free to contribute. We have a horrible look. As you can see, the UI is not really great. You can help us to make it great. So I'll try to. But before I can do this, right? Or let's just go ahead. Let me create an account. I'll call it test. And if I hit register, I have registration complete, right? And if I hit OK, I can log in into the test, right? But all these things, something is happening behind the scene. The API, as I'm checking something, like I'm calling APIs, right? Remember I said like all the buttons in your mobile application, APIs are behind all those buttons, right? And if you click on something, you are making an API call. But how can I be able to intercept this API call? How can I do that? Right? That is where Bob Suite will come into play. Yeah. So you can set up Bob Suite. Bob Suite is very, very easy to set up. I want to believe that like over 70% of everyone on this session, they have Bob Suite on their computer, right? Or they know what Bob Suite does, right? It is a proxy tool to perform man in the middle attack, to intercept requests, edit requests, force, do a lot of security testing. Yeah. All right. So this is how our Bob Suite looks like, and our business is around the proxy. But this guy will not work because I have not. In fact, let us review it together. Yeah. So to proxy an application to your Bob Suite, all you need to do is to come to proxy settings, come to this guy, hit on edit and select all interfaces, right? All interfaces, and you select OK, right? That is it. Once we've done that, we'll go back, and if I try to do anything, nothing is going to actually drop, right? Nothing will happen because the most important thing that I need to do has not been done, which is setting up the certificate, like installing Bob Suite certificate, so that I can be able to, so that this application can trust Bob Suite to forward its traffic to Bob Suite, right? So how can we do that? We can either do this manually, right? We can do it manually by coming here. So we can do export CA certificate. You can click on certificates DER, select a folder I want to install it to. I can, we can do this manual stuff, which will take time, and it will waste our time basically. So I've also, I've written a script for us that we can use to automate this, but this will only work if you are using Linux. If you are trying to do this on, like, Ubuntu or Parrot or whatever. So these are the two scripts. One is to set up your your uh your certificate. The other is to help you to proxy. Yeah. So if I open the script, we can actually see it. It's a very easy script. All we are doing is go to local hosts, and like go to Bob Suite's URL, download the certificate. When you call it SAT, convert it from DR to PEM, rename it, do all sorts of things. The certificate, you understand? Like, this is something we can actually do manually, but because of time, we might not be able to be doing all of these things. So you can just download. So let me just download. I hope I'll be able to download this time around. Download file. All right, because of time, yeah, and we don't have the luxury of time. I already have the script. So if I do ls grep sh or .sh, I have all the scripts, and what I'm looking for is okay. I can go into Von Mobile. So in your own case, all you need to do is to clone the repository. So I think we can also do that. Yeah, we can do that instead of wasting time. If you clone the repository, You have Android config, right? Because I've already cloned it, I have it already. And if you look at it, I have the files. I have the mobile.sh and I have setproxy.sh. These are very important scripts that will help you to automatically set the certificate. So let us quickly check something before I run the script. I want us to check something. So if I go into the phone, I go into the settings, I can navigate to I think is it privacy? No. I can navigate to security. Yeah, I can navigate to security. I will go to encryption and credentials. I will go to trusted credentials. And if I look around, if I go to P, we are looking for port trigger certificate, which is for Bob Suite. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S. So OPQ. There's no certificate with P here, right? There's no certificate with P here. So now we are going to run the scripts and we'll come back to check if we now have a certificate installed, right? Before you can run the scripts, all you have to do is to give it the permission to run, right? Once you've given it permission, just run certificate setup complete. And if you come back to this phone, so let me just close and let me go back to check, right? Where is security? Encryption and credentials, trusted certificate. We are looking for P, port trigger, A, B, C, okay, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. As you can see, now we have port trigger. We've been able to automate the certificate installation, right? So now we've installed the certificate, right? So what else can we do? We have the other script, which is setproxy.sh. So this guy will help me to configure, right? It will, whenever I run it, it will help me proxy the phone traffic to Bob Suite, right? So I have this IP address here because that is the IP address. My Bob Suite, as you can see, I have 172.25.0.1. If we come back here, 172.17.0.1, I think we have something like that. Yeah, this is it. This is one of the IPs. Yeah. So for your own on your own computer, yours might be different, right? So you might want to edit the IP to match what is inside your own computer, right? So what I have to do is to also give it permission to run. Set up proxy, and I'll just do set proxy. So to set the proxy, if you look at the script here, I said whenever I run set, whenever I run this script with set, it should run this command for me. And whenever I use onset, it should disable the proxy for me. So if I try to run it like this, it will tell me I need to use either set or onset, right? So I'll try it again, but this time I'll use set. Now I want to believe that I can be able to capture my phone's traffic, but let's see if it is possible. So I can just try to capture something on Google, and I want you to pay attention to this place, right? So once I enter the URL on Google, as you can see, the mobile traffic has started dropping. Mobile traffic has started dropping. So for Google, it will be very easy because Google is PWA. It's just like a web application, right? Progressive web application. So there's no any security, anything in place. You might, if you want to test a mobile application, it might give you like some headache in terms of proxying, right? So I'll just clean this traffic. I'll clear this traffic. And now we want to see if we can be able to capture our mobile traffic. Let's see if we can be able to capture our mobile traffic. I think we created an account called test. tests. And if I hit login, as you can see, we've been able to capture this mobile this mobile applications traffic, right? So now we have the traffic, and if I come here, you can see the the username and the password that I use, tests and tests, right? And we've gotten a token, and if I take that token, if I take it to JWT, I can see that we have a valid token, right? So we can continue to capture. So I can try to transfer money. So if I go back to Bob Suite, I can try to transfer money. Admin 001 is an account. Uh, Amount, I can say $100, and I can do testing. And if I transfer, I get transfer completed successfully, and I can see the endpoint, transfer endpoint, right? So if I want to continue, and you don't know how to test APIs, and this is where majority of the bypassing that you need to do, like on the logic side, this is where you will need to do them, right? So you can send to repeater, you can try to send it again. Imagine sending a negative value, right? Imagine sending a negative value. Now our balance is 800. But what will happen if I try to send a negative value? Will it increase my balance? As you can see, I sent negative value and I've increased my balance. So imagine me sending a higher value. Let's see, I'm getting insufficient funds. So if I stay within the normal balance range, I can be able to send as many money as possible. Okay, getting that. If I try to transfer, okay, as you can see, I've been able to increase my balance from 800 naira to or $800 to $1,400. I can send it again. I've increased send, 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 send. So imagine a situation where I am trying to test a live bank account, and I'm able to increase my money. Yeah, and I'm able to increase my money. I think while we were doing the static analysis, we saw an endpoint. I think we saw an endpoint exactly. We saw something called debug user, and we saw a credential with admin. So let us try to see if these guys are actually valid. So I will log out, and I will log admin because of time. I need to rush this. I need to it gets invalid credential admin 123, and I was able to log in as an admin. So this credential is actually valid. And if I click check balance, as you can see the balance of the admin, right? This is the balance of the admin, and it is because we were able to remove money, because I tried sending money to the admin. So let me do this and come back to check the balance to see if it will actually have an effect, right? So this is 9971. If I try to check the balance again, as you can see, I am trying to send money to admin, and at the same time I'm deducting money from admin to increase my own balance, right? I We saw an endpoint, like I said, which is called debug users. So it is easy. We can just copy the endpoint, go to repeater. I can I can just clean all of this guy. I'm trying to fetch the endpoint. So I will use get request, and I will paste the endpoints we saw. And if I hit enter, as you can see, this is actually a valid endpoint that will view all the accounts on the server. Imagine finding this kind of vulnerability in a live bank app where an attacker now can see your username and password. So let's check to actually confirm this is true, right? So I'll try to create another account. Let me log out. Let me try to register. I'll call it Cysec-Con. Cysec-Con. And I'll call the password. I have registered. Now let me try to check again. And if you can, as you can see, I now, meaning if we have 1 million users, I now have access to all their credentials, right? And at the same time, most times, right, banks reuse their APIs. So most banks, they have like application, right? It depends on which you want to use as a customer. So we can also try to check if this URL is accessible on the web interface, right? On the web browser. And as you can see, it is accessible on the web browser. So meaning because I've been able to see the credentials of people, now we know that okay, this person is a normal user and their privilege is false. We have one single user, which is the admin. So I will try to log in as an admin. Yeah. So if I try to log in as an admin 123, as you can see, now I have access into an administrative account. So I just want to quickly show us something. So I have access to admin panel, and I can only admin should be able to see all the users, right? Meaning I can now delete this account. I've deleted this account. If I try to log in into test account, I should get an error, invalid credentials, meaning this account has been deleted, right? Imagine an attacker gaining this much. Remember, I mentioned something that okay, I'm an attacker. So let me use hacker and the password test. What we are doing is testing the APIs, right? Both from the interface and from Bob Suite. Yeah. So I'm trying to log in as hacker test. Now I've logged in as the hacker. As you can see, the profile is hacker. Remember, I mentioned something around insecure authentication and insecure authorization, right? Imagine a scenario where I can request for loan as a user, as a non-user, I can request for loan. So let me request for 1 billion. I don't even know what this value is, right? I've requested for the loan. But because I've been able to compromise an administrative account, if I refresh this page, I'm actually going to see the request, the loan request. As you can see, this is the loan request. So before I will allow this admin to grant the loan request, I can check the balance of the account I created. Yeah. So I can use Chromium, bank on render. Whatever thing I do, we also drop. I can also be seeing the traffic here as I try to browse the application. So Chromium has already been like it will route all your traffic to Bob Suite here. So let me log in as the hacker test. And if I log in, this is the balance of the hacker, right? This is the balance. And if we come down, we see that the hacker has requested for a loan, which is pending. But because they've gained administrative privilege, now they can just approve the loan, right? They've approved the loan. As you can see, we have loan approved successfully. And if I come back to this hacker's profile, which the balance is $1,000. If I refresh, as you can see now, we've been able to. So just imagine a situation where I can request for loan and I can grant it, and immediately I can just withdraw and I can just withdraw it. Yeah. All right. So I want to show us something before we go. So remember, I said something around what you should ask for when you want to perform a a mobile engagement, a mobile pen test engagement, and I said you should ask for API documentation. There are situations where they will give you the APK and you will not be able to capture the traffic, right? Because they have like crazy mechanism in place to stop you from to capture the traffic. What are you going to do as a security engineer who is performing a white box test? What are you going to do? What are the things that you can? What can you tell them? What can you tell your developers to do? You have like two options, right? One is to beg the developer to please like to weaken the security control and make it possible for you to be able to intercept the request. Some might they might listen, some might not listen, right? Another thing you might want to do is to just tell them, give me the API documentation, right? Give me the API documentation and give me the binary. I might not be able to proxy the traffic directly from the mobile app, but if I have the API documentation, I can be able to proxy, I can be able to test the API separately and test the mobile binary separately. So I can do static analysis with MobileServe, JDX, and the likes, right? So I can do by static analysis with this guy, and I will just do dynamic analysis. I can just test, right? So API documentation comes in different formats, right? So most of them will come in a Swagger format like this, right? They will come like this. So you have access to all the API documentation. How can you test, right? Some might not come in a Swagger format. Some might come in an open this guy. So what you do if you are presented with something like this, it is easy here. Just start your Postman, right? Postman is a tool to also test APIs, right? So you can start your Postman, and I'm waiting for Postman to come up. All right, so Postman is about to come up. While Postman is about to URL, yeah, copy the open API specification URL here. Like you have several something, so you can just paste the URL, right? It will read the something, and all you have to do is just select import. As you can see, it is importing the. Now you have a Postman collection documentation, right? We have vulnerable bank API copy, API documentation for deliberately. All the information we have here, this is it here, right? API deliberately something, support, blah, blah, blah. And the registration endpoint, you can see it here. You can actually test. You can test it here, right? So all you have to do is to, okay, I want to register. Let me register as hacker2, and the password is test. And if I come here, as you can see, I've been able to register, right? I've been able to register. I will come to login. I will do the same, right? Come to login. I can log in as the hacker2, and the password is test, right? So, like I'm giving you like different options or on how you can actually go about testing mobile application and its APIs, right? Without going through a lot. Yeah. As you can see, I've been able to log in, and I can keep on interacting with all the endpoints this way. Meanwhile, I have done my static analysis already. I know possible problems that I can report, and I'm testing the APIs. But the only thing you need to get here, you'll not be able to, uh, you know, you will not be able to read the log, right? You'll not be able to read the logs. You might not be able to go into the device. Yeah, that is true. I promised that I will show you how you can also go into the mobile device. So all these things that we've been doing, all these accounts that we've been creating or something, they should be stored somewhere, right? Where is it actually stored on our phone? On the phone, where is it stored? Let's find out. Yeah. So if I do ADB shell, I'm inside the phone. If I do SU, I'm now a root user on the phone. So if I do ls, remember we did all of this, but mobile data are stored in CD data and CD data again. If I do ls, we can see all the application on the phone. What is this guy, right? com.vulnerable bank app. That is the package name of this mobile application. So I can just clear and I can CD into. Now, this is the folder where this mobile app stores its data, right? We have app texture, we have cache, we have databases, we have shared prefs, we have code cache files, whatever. So we can decide to go into databases to see if there is anything in the database. Now, we have two things stored in the database. We might not be able to open this guy, right? We have RK storage, we have storage.journal, right? These are These might be SQLite, in SQLite format, right? And if I try to cut it, you can see that it is not really readable, but I can still make some things, right? I can see something like JWT, EY, J something something. And if I copy this guy, let me confirm if it is actually valid. As you can see, this guy is actually valid. This is the account I created. This is the username hacker. And if we go back to the phone, as you can see, now uh, imagine an attacker like stealing my device and gaining access into my phone. Now they have my JWT. I can see someone complaining that the something is blurry. I'm very sorry. Well, I don't know what else. I guess it's network. Maybe you can also try to like change your network or something. Let me switch my network to confirm if it is actually blurry. Also change the quality, right? You will see like a settings icon on your YouTube something. Select high picture quality, and I want to believe that it will be clear, right? High picture quality should do something to an extent. As you can see, I have been able to. Uh, guys, don't worry if it is still blurry. Immediately we're done with this session, we are going to uh, publish this particular session, and you can watch it later, right? You can watch it later. So I've been capture the token of this guys. All right. So another thing we can do is shared prefs, right? Let me clear ls. We have a folder called shared prefs, and most times developers store sensitive data in this guy, right? So if we do cd shared prefs ls, I can see two configuration files. One is vonbank prefs.xml. The other one is webview chromium prefs.xml, right? Let's check this guy to see if there is something there. So, and I will enter. And as you can see like the developer I'm using the developer, even though I am the one that actually intentionally embedded all of these things there. Yeah. But imagine an attacker stealing your phone and access into things like this, right? And that's why we spoke about insecure data storage. This is an example, right? This is an example of insecure data storage. How can you secure this? All you have to, you use secure shared prefs. When you use secure shared prefs, even if an attacker should go into this, they are going to see all this data in an encrypted format, right? They will not be able to make sense of whatever thing they are looking at, right? So what else can we do? What else can we do? Yeah, so I think I've shown you how you can test from Postman. Another very important thing is that, okay, yeah, you are testing from Postman, but how can you link or how can you proxy your Postman to your Bob suite? How can you do it? So if I think I'll use this opportunity to talk about AppSec University, right? AppSec University is a platform where you can learn about API security. AppSec University. It's a platform where you can learn about API security, and they have this course called API penetration testing. Right? If you go through this API penetration testing course, you are going to learn how to go about testing something like this, or how to test an API collection like this, right? So I'm going to advise you enroll if you've not enrolled, and if you've enrolled, this particular course is very, 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 very useful. It will help you strengthen your API penetration testing skills, right? So I'm just going to quickly show you how we can actually proxy our traffic from Postman to Bob Suite. So what can we do? We come to this settings icon here, right? We come to this icon. Please confirm if you can, if my screen is clear, please. Help me if my screen is clear. At least if I get like maybe 10, 15 people, then it's just a few people with bad network or something. It's still blurry. Wow, this is. Please try to switch. Like, go to settings, select high picture quality, and advance and select the picture quality you want, 720p. It will be very clear, right? I'm also viewing the session from my phone, and it is clear here. All right. So you come to settings, select settings, go to proxy, right? And turn on system proxies. These two guys, turn them on. Now, because I already have a proxy listening on port 8080, right? So I can just change this guy to maybe 8082 or something. But remember that whatever thing you do here, you have to go to post and to Bob Suite to go and do the same thing, right? That is the only way you can start capturing. Now we've enabled the traffic. I will also go to proxy settings, click on add, and I will write the port I want to bind the listener to, which is port 8082. And I will select the IP address, which is 172.0.0.1, which is the same thing we have here, right? And once I do that, I will hit OK. So just for clarity's sake, I'm going to delete all this traffic, and we'll see if we can be able to proxy Postman. All right, so try to log in again. I will come to Bob Suite. I have been able to, like, now I can intercept Postman's traffic, right? It's very easy. In fact, I can turn on the intercept just to show you that it is actually intercepting. I can try to, right? I can try to register again. If I hit send, as you can see, Bob Suite has captured the traffic. Bob Suite has captured the traffic. This is the payload. And if you go back to check the payload, we have the same payload. And as you can see, Postman is waiting for that traffic to go through. And if I just forward, I can turn it off. And as you can see now, I have the message username already exists. If I go back to my Postman and my Pop Suite, I also have the same message of username, right? So I think I think I will have to put an end to just to wrap up. I've shown you how you can do static analysis, dynamic analysis, right? How you can capture traffic and all of those things, right? Now let us do one like the last thing of properly configuring our phone, right? Do this, I'll just turn off every proxy something, and also I have some scripts running. I can come here to turn off my proxy area using onset. Onset will turn off the proxy, meaning nothing will capture anymore. Now we want to be able to download applications from Play Store. How can we do it? Right. So you come to these three icons, right, and look around, look for OpenG apps. Install OpenG apps. So once you click it, you can accept their terms and condition, and it will configure some things for us. Then we are going to have we are going to automatically see a Play Store icon, and we can use we can download applications directly. Right? We can please let me know in the comment if there's any other technique or any other topic I've not touched that involves mobile penetration testing. Please let me know so that we can just quickly round. We want that by 7:40 we we are done with everything. All right, by 7. All right, so we have OpenGL have been successfully installed on the virtual device. Please restart the virtual. So I can just restart now, and it will automatically restart the phone. It will bring me to this place. I don't really have any business. Okay, is there a checklist? Yes, thank you very much for that. There is a checklist that you can use. I mentioned OWASP top 10 the other time. So they have OWASP Mobile Security Verification Standard, MSVS, I think. Yeah, OWASP MSVS. It is for mobile applications security. So you can, as you can see now, we have a lot of checklists. If you want to test for uh, whatever, these are controls. We have storage one, and we like you can also, I think they have some exactly, yeah, here. So you can download the checklist. You can come to MASVS and testing the security policy, testing local storage for sensitive data. All of these things are here, right? And you see how you can do it. There's mentioned something around shared preferences, which we've checked. They mentioned Android manifest.xml, which we checked. They mentioned go to these are test cases that you can actually test for, as you can see, right? Oh shit! Oh, my data is low. All right, guys. We will soon end this session because my power is about to go off. It's actually embarrassing. Although, give me a minute to switch to NEPA.